Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? Just finished shoveling a little bit of snow outside. For those in the DMV area, you know that it was a snow day. And yesterday I was gonna do a reaction video, but there's already enough people that do game post game reactions and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to stew in what I'm thinking. Kind of bring it to you guys live this morning before I hit my work day. And I got a little bit of time. I just went out there, finished shoveling snow and stuff like that, and got my little burn in, got my sweatsuit on. So um, for those that don't know, man, it's a blizzard out. Well, not a blizzard, but we're expecting 6 to 12 inches of snow, and we haven't had snow in a while. So um, excited to get out there and actually shovel a little bit of snow. That way I ain't got to go to the gym today and stuff like that. Agent Nine said, "I'm glad the season's over. Thank God." What's up, Big Flock? How you do? How you doing out there? I'm glad the season's over now too, because now, like Foots the King was saying last night, it's time for direction. It's time for the plan. Now, you know, we had some time to think about it and how we want the plan to unfold and how we want this all season to start off. And I'm glad that Foots made the rant video last night and talked about what needed to happen, which is we need to know who's coaching this team. We need, like, that's the first thing. We can't do anything until we know who's coaching the team. We can't do anything. So until we figure that out, we don't know which direction to go. So Agent Nine said the front office is going to wait until the last minute for everything. And my thing is, if you're going to fire the coach or if you're going to move on from the coach, it's best to do it now. That way people can get prepared. Candidates can get prepared, so that they can know how they would attack our team. See, when you decide to do things at the last minute, you're not going to get the candidate pool that you want. And that's by design. Yeah, it's by design. But remember, you did that the last time, and now you're in a situation where however you slice it, that didn't work because you didn't extend that coach. You didn't extend him when it was time to extend him. So that means you had doubts. And a lot of that has to do with your process the last time. The Cowboys wanted a veteran coach, so they only brought in two viable candidates, which was Marvin Lewis and Mike McCarthy. And we know Marvin Lewis ain't had no damn chance. If there was no Rooney Rule, nobody would care about Marvin Lewis interviewing for that job because they would know what it is. And it's actually crazy to think about, right? Because one of the best candidates that could interview for this job and I think could turn things around, again, look, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the unspeakables. I'm going to talk about the unspeakables until the unspeakables become something that doesn't happen or becomes normal. If you look at how Minnesota's built that team, you look at where Minnesota came from, you look at what Minnesota had to work with, you look at how they instantly kind of turned things around. This DC was there for 1 year, and this team just completely, they became a defensive team. Minnesota, Brian Flores should be one of the hottest names out there right now. And because of what happened in now keep in mind, McDaniel's down in Miami, and things still ain't shaking. Maybe Miami is just a bad culture. Maybe Miami isn't meant to win anything. Maybe it's just meant to be Miami. You know what I'm saying? Even though Florida is, high up, is high up on the list of football production as far as you go from high school to college. Like, Florida athlete, like Florida football is very, very serious. You know what I'm saying? Very, 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 very serious. And so I know the people in Florida, the people in Miami, especially in Miami, they really want greatness. They really want that football team to embody what it is to be Miami football. And so, you see Tua go on interviews and say, pretty much admit how he was soft at the position for real. And he really just couldn't take the feedback, the championship type feedback that it takes. And then you hear about how Bill Belichick used to berate Tom Brady in front of everybody, but then you realize that's why they built the standard the way that they did. Your coach is going to call out his best guys in front of everybody because everybody's going to be accountable. So you hear about things like that, and then especially when it's a black guy, you look like the angry black guy when you're doing that. So that's why I think Brian Flores isn't getting the love in the coaching world that he should be getting as far as a head coaching candidate or his name being brought up like that, because the way he was able, I mean, we see hot offensive coordinators every year. Bobby Slowick last year, I'm glad Foots brought him up. You know, had a hot offense last year, and he was a hot name. And thankfully, he went back to Houston. They'll probably keep him in Houston, but let's just keep it 100. Like, you know, you, my bad, I had to end my workout. Let's just keep it 100. Bobby Slowick would have ruined the franchise if he was their head coach. But that was a name that was out there because he's creative, and everything they do is, what I'm saying, what people look at today with all emotions and all, like that sexy football that everybody loves, right? Sexy football doesn't win championships. It don't. You know, being able to adapt, being able to understand your players, being able to understand how to get the most out of your group of guys, knowing how, yeah, that's what wins in the National Football League. What did Andy Reid do? Everybody looks at Andy Reid as one of the GOATs, and I do too. But y'all want to know what Andy Reid does? Very, very smart. Andy Reid and his very best teams throughout the course of his career, Andy hires a defensive mind. He hires a defensive mind, and he lets them do what they do over there. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever culture you're gonna build over there, you build that over there, and we're gonna play complementary football to that. And Andy Reid's best teams in Philly, he had Jim Johnson as a defensive coordinator. They did a lot of blitzing. They played a lot of ball control football. They played a lot of field position. Everybody knows Andy Reid. And they love Andy Reid for all of the wrinkles and plays and stuff, that all of that. But Andy know one thing. Andy know that without a defense, for the most part, they're not gonna win. And Andy says, "Hey, Steve, go work with what you got, bro. Hey, Jim Johnson, go work with what you got." And guess what? Andy ain't gonna never let Steve out that building. Never. You know what I'm saying? Never gonna let him out that building. So I say all that to say, your coach has to understand your coach has to kind of build a culture. He has to be able to have his hands in everything, but he also has to be able to have his hands in who the staffing is and allow them to do their jobs. I say all that. That's a football operation. Kansas City has to operate differently because if they don't win, they're not going to make money. And if they don't make money, the ownership is going to make a change. It is what it is. Like, there's direction, like Foots talked about. And I'm going to keep giving my guy Foots the King the credit for that, because the word direction is such a good word for what Dallas needs. A guy like Brian Flores, right, who's been around winning, who understands defense, who understands being tough, who understands culture. A guy like that should have an opportunity to interview for a Cowboys job should it open. But the fact that we know why he wouldn't have a shot at it is the problem. It's the problem. It's the problem with this organization, bro. Like, if you look at it, you look at the league, and this isn't even just a white and black thing, right? It's not even a race thing, and I don't even want to pull the race card per se, but I have to look at the numbers. You got to look at the optics, right? You look at what's going on right now. You look at Detroit. We like Detroit, right? Who's their defensive coordinator? Aaron Glenn. Very smart player, right? You look at these teams and you look at how the NFL is being built. These ex-players are becoming coaches. These ex-players, they understand these youngins. They understand these young players. They understand they're a little bit closer to the game. than some of these dinosaurs and stuff out here. They just are. So they know how to get more out of these guys. They just do. And so I say all that to say this. How many black offensive coordinators has Dallas had? How many black defensive coordinators has Dallas had? And I'm not saying that they need to hire that. I'm saying Dallas needs to be open to the best candidates for the jobs. You want to know what Dallas does? They get yes men. They get yes men that look a certain way. I'm just going to call it what it is, bro. Because we ain't winning. I'm tired of losing. We're not winning and we're tired of losing. I look at, because one thing that I do disagree with Foots about as far as coaching is we look at it all the time. You look at when a coach goes into a place and they're able to kind of control their staff. They're able to kind of be in on the draft process and all of that stuff. They're really the number one guy, the number one catalyst in building their culture. They're the number one catalyst in building their culture. You watch them and like look at Harbaugh, right? And Harbaugh is not black, right? He's not black, but again, ex-player, been in college football. He's built an NFL team. You know what I'm saying? It's an NFL family. You know what I'm saying? It's an NFL family. And you watch Harbaugh and you watch how they played yesterday and you watch how the Chargers have transformed into all of a sudden a tough football team with the guy like Herbert at quarterback, where the Chargers were known for being soft, for getting good players, but being soft. You look at him in 1 year and you watch the transformation of the Chargers. Now look, the Chargers have been to the playoffs before. The Chargers have gone there and they have failed, and Harbaugh might fail. They might fail this year. I mean, as far as they might lose in the playoffs and stuff like that. But you just look at the transformation of the Chargers in the dumpster fire that they were, and you look at them now, and you're just saying, damn, one man can make a difference. The right man can make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I say all that to say, if you're going to do things in your culture like, oh, he can't be the coach because he's black, well, then you cutting off a lot of coaches, and then your pool is very, very thin. So I hope that I was able to explain that without really trying to make that a race conversation, because I think it's a certain type of guy that you got to be able to bring in, like Vrabel, like the guys that I think that would have been available or that are available. The best candidates are defensive guys. So I'm not saying Dallas should go out and hire Brian Flores because he's black and, you know what I'm saying, he might be able to get closer to the black players and this and that. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying get the best candidates in here, and it doesn't matter what they look like. I don't care. I don't care about what the optics are. I care about winning football games. I care about how we build it. I care about building a culture. I care about, somebody said it, Mike McCarthy, lack structure. Lose Take said it, lack structure. Absolutely. So I'm looking at Mike McCarthy and I'm saying to myself, what the hell is it that we're doing? What the hell is it that we're doing? I'm asking Jerry, what the hell is it that we're doing? What are we doing? You look at this team, you look at what we got right now, even healthy. What is this team? What are we good at? What are we known for? If I ask those things from a football standpoint, nobody can answer the question. Nobody knows. Nobody has, are we a defensive team? Are we an offensive team? Can we run the ball? Are we a passing team? You look at our team, and sure, our coach just want to throw the damn ball. But you look at the receivers, and who are we throwing the ball to? Who are we going through? You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what we want to get good at, why the hell aren't we going out and stacking the weapons out there if that's what we want to do? We don't know what we're doing, bro. We don't know where we're going. And as long as we stay there, As long as we stay there, bro, we're going to get a lot of this. And there might be, I don't know, I think this team could turn it around next year. They could. But even with the lack of structure, you can still have a good team. So it's crazy to think about it, right? Because we have some good players on this team, players that are going above and beyond what they probably like. Let's be honest, bro. I know a lot of people will kill me for saying this, but I think that it's part of his downfall too. I think Dak Prescott in the under Will McClay's umbrella is the best draft pick we've ever had. I mean, no matter if we lose in the first round, no matter if, you know what I'm saying, we're not getting championships, all of that type of stuff. For the value that we got Dak Prescott, that is the very best pick that we've had under Will McClay. He just is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got an All-Pro, you got almost an MVP. Now you could argue that maybe Zach Martin, or you could argue that it's Micah Parsons, but I think about Dak Prescott and what that position is, and what the type of help that we didn't give him. Like, if you look at how this team was built when he came in and he inherited it, this team was never built for Dak. It never was built for him, and they continue to not build for him. And yet, when he's out for the season, the year's done for the most part. You know what I'm saying? The year's done. We don't give him, like, no real receivers. We don't give him outside of, I mean, really, look, we can say, oh, he had Zeke. Zeke wasn't drafted for Dak. And Zeke as a running back does, he declined. He declined as a running back does, and we didn't bring in, we got Pollard. We mismanaged that. Like, Dak has shown you the things that Dak can do. He's shown you the things that, he's shown you where, you know, I'm really good in the play action game. I'm really good when we have a running game behind. No. That's not going to sell us tickets. That's not, like, we need you to become Mahomes. We need you to become Josh Allen. We need you to become Tom Brady. Like, if you think about it, right? We always talk about it. Dallas is always a step too slow, right? They're always a step too slow on what they want. So Dak went from, y'all wanted him to be Brady. Y'all wanted him to be, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Brady. To now we want you to become Mahomes. We want you to become Josh Allen. We want you to become all those guys. But y'all done built him to the point where y'all wanted him to be a pocket guy when he wasn't a pocket guy when he came in here. He was more like Jalen Hurts. He was more like the guys that we're watching now, the Lamar Jackson. He's not as good of an athlete as Lamar Jackson, but you get what I'm saying? His skill set was more like Russell Wilson. But we wanted him to be Brady. We want you to be whoever the hell is on top. That's what we want you to be. We want you to be that. But, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter that Mahomes get all the weapons, you know, or they try and keep him weaponed up, or they try, even if they don't have the weapons, or if they get injured and stuff, they still try to keep him, you know what I'm saying, comfortable to where he can do his job the very best. We don't do that for Dak. So that's one thing I will say. One of my issues with Dak, though, is I don't know that Dak has the locker room as much anymore. And this is one thing I will attack, and I will say this. We too Hollywood in that locker room. And Dak didn't used to be Hollywood. Nah, Dak used to be kind of one of the guys. Dak used to be, you know what I'm saying, a leader of men, to where it's like, I can how do I say? I can identify with everybody. I know, you know, a little bit about everybody, and Dak seems to me like you can't really touch him. He seems like he's untouchable. And when you're around a bunch of guys who are undrafted free agents, right? Because let's just keep it 100. We play a lot of undrafted free agents. We play a lot of late draft picks and all of that type of stuff, right? Them guys ain't going to identify with that Hollywood ass shit, bro. They not. Because those guys got to get it out the gutter, and they're not as talented, right? So that, I think Ferg is in the middle of that right now in Crossroads. I think Ferg was trying to cross over before he even did shit. Ferg was trying to cross over because I think he just assumed he was going to cross over because you stepped into that position. But you got to still keep balling, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you crossed over, you put too much dip on your chip. He put too much dip on his chip, but he's not the only one. And that's the culture that we built. Too much dip on our chip, bro. Like, we don't care about winning should come first. All that other stuff should come second. And then when I just think about what this organization does best when we're a contender, top-notch running game. Top-notch money game. Nah, that's hell. No, Jay Recruiter, that is bullshit. Micah is not Hollywood. Dak is Hollywood. Dak is Hollywood. Micah will go out there and play a game with no lineup, bro. He'll go play a game scruffy. Micah got the voice of the people in that locker room. Y'all keep saying that because he's doing a podcast. He's doing a podcast because people like you and people like a whole bunch of people, a lot of these article people will misconstrue his words, and he got to let you know what it is. And I don't blame him for that. Dak is definitely Hollywood. Look at him, bro. Dak all of a sudden, like, all right, what's more Hollywood than this, right? And again, you get to do whatever it is that you want to do, right? The most Hollywood shit I ever seen, right, is during the bye week of a losing season, right? Y'all get on Micah about his podcast all the time, like, make sure we stopping the run. Make sure we doing this. Make sure we doing that. During the bye week, we getting our fucking backs blown out, and Dak out there on the golf course taking photo shoot pictures of a damn engagement, bro. Now, I don't have a problem with the engagement, but how it was set up, like it was almost like it was a PR move. It was almost like it was a PR move. Everything with Dak now is damn near PR, bro. And look at Ferg. Y'all talking about Dak's. Look at Ferg's page. Everything is PR. Everything. PR. Yeah, you lying. You lying if you say Micah don't care about the team. You trolling, bro. You trolling. It is what it is. Nah, but yeah. Nah, Micah, CD, like, those guys are who this team should follow. But they got the ear of the locker room. You get what I'm saying? They got the ear of the locker room, and you could see. You could see it when Dak was out. We were playing harder because we didn't have no choice. We didn't have no choice. Cooper Rush sucks, bro. He sucks. Like, he sucks. And look, it's like, y'all can disagree all day, but y'all are going to say the same thing in a different way. I'm just going to say it like it. I'm going to say it where it's no chaser. It's no chaser. So I'm going to say it in a way that's straightforward, but y'all ain't going to give me the credit for saying it. But y'all watch what happened. Y'all watch what happened. I'm telling you. But that Dak that we looking at right now, that's not the guy that we love. I don't know who that guy is, but that guy's comfortable. That guy is comfortable. CeeDee Lamb, he got his money, and CD ain't playing comfortable. CD's not playing comfortable. CD went out there. He got his money. He had every right to sit out. He had every right. CD was trying to make it for a playoff run. Micah came back. We tried for a playoff run. We tried for a playoff run. Like, with bum-ass Cooper Rush. Like, Cooper Rush wouldn't play for nobody else's team, bro. You want to know how I know that? Because he went out on the market, he went to the Giants, and they cut his ass. The sorry-ass Giants cut Cooper Rush. But you know what? We might be able to sell Cooper Rush. We might be able to sell Cooper Rush to the people. You know what I'm saying? Or keep this in mind. Cooper Rush is somebody that keeps Dak comfortable because there's nobody else that's going to push him for that spot. There's no young, upcoming talent. The one thing, look, I said let's talk draft. Right? And I know it's not a top pick. I know it's not a top priority. But I was trying to push this last year. They tried to do it with Trey. Trey just wasn't good enough. But they were on to something with it, and I just wish that they would stay with it. Stay with that premise. Keep that guy on the roster that can keep the year going in case Dak goes down. Because Dak has gone down 3 out of the last 4 years. And 2 of them, they were season-ending injuries. You know what I'm saying? They were season-ending injuries. So the one thing I'll say about Dak is what Romo was when Romo went out. And I don't even think Romo was this Hollywood. Now, Romo used to do stuff like do golf tournaments and stuff like that. He would date supermodels and stuff. I don't really remember Romo doing all these commercials, all these ads. And again, like, that don't mean that I don't think Dak is a good player or that I don't think we could win with Dak. It don't mean all of that stuff. But what I mean is, I think the Cowboys quarterback, that prestige is something that Jerry and the Joneses and the Cowboys and the Star, I think they want it to look a certain way. And I think Dak is playing ball. I think Dak is playing ball with that. I think they want it to look a certain way. Yeah, somebody said Jessica Simpson, Romo. Yeah, I think when he started, yeah, but then he got rid of her real fast and started, like, I mean, he was dating people, but, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't in the limelight as much. It wasn't in the limelight and stuff as much. But tell me that Dak ain't doing that Jessica Simpson shit right now. You look at Dak, and a lot of that is a lot of that same stuff. It's the same formula, bro. It's the same formula. Like, and I know there wasn't social media and stuff like that then. But, and I know, like, I said that I was tired of the 90s players saying what these guys need to do now, but that pertained to how the game was different. But leadership is leadership. Leadership is, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, leadership is probably one of the oldest things out there. I mean, the only thing that's probably older than that is prostitution. But leadership, bro, like, there's something about your leader, not captains, but leaders. There's something about having people that want to run through a brick wall for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that what they do with the quarterback position in Dallas, they kind of pull it away from the locker room. They kind of pull it away from the locker room. And it's not a winning formula. It just isn't. Like, look at Mahomes. Mahomes is pretty much the Steph Curry of the NFL. Except, to win the Super Bowls and do the things that Mahomes... Steph Curry won championships, so I'm not going to talk about his greatness. But Pat Mahomes is the standard right now. Pat Mahomes is the best in the game. Pat Mahomes is looking at possibly winning a 3rd Super Bowl in a row. Possibly winning a 3rd Super Bowl in a row. Yeah, there's a lot of chaos that goes on around Pat Mahomes. There is a lot of chaos, like, you know what I'm saying, his wife, his brother, all that type of stuff. But when you look at Pat Mahomes, you can honestly say Pat Mahomes puts football first. Football is first. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying Dak shouldn't get his bag. He got his bag. I'm just talking about what the Cowboys do with their quarterback and what a winning franchise does with theirs. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when we talk about direction, right? Foots talked about direction. I think that that's a phrase that Foots for this offseason should probably coin. When we look at the direction, you got to look at the leadership. That's the first thing you got to look at. You got to look at that. And our leadership is poor. You know what I'm saying? Our leadership or what we invest in the leadership or how we want our leaders to conduct themselves. How we want them to conduct themselves. Because Micah and CD, they're leading without doing it the Cowboys conducted way. They are true, like what you would call like alphas. They're true alphas. They're the very best at what they do. And people naturally follow that. They naturally follow that. And I can honestly say, well, one thing I kind of hate about CD, I kind of hate all of that dressing up crap. But, that's just me. Like, at the end of the day, you getting a check, you getting a check. But his play is still gritty. Micah's play is still gritty. They're not trying to be somebody else. They're trying to be the best of what they are. You know what I'm saying? They're fighting for their teammates. They're scrapping for their teammates. That needs to happen at the top. That needs to happen with our GM. That needs to happen with our coach. They need to stop fighting each other. If they fought to make this team, as much as they fought doing dumb shit amongst each other, we might be something. But I say all that to say, like, we need to bring in a quarterback with the comp pick. Like, I think it was Tuck that said it. Bring in a comp pick quarterback that reminds Dak of what it was when he came in the league. Bring in somebody that's going to look at him like he looked at Romo. Because there wasn't, I could bet my bottom dollar, and if I were able to ask Dak the question, I bet you Dak walked in there when Dak was drafted, Dak saw that he was going to start. Dak knew he was just taking that job. He probably respected Tony, but Dak wasn't here to just get on the roster, if y'all get what I mean. Dak knew throughout his life, Dak took everybody's job that was in front of him. He knew it. He was hungry. And I need Dak to get Dak back to that, you got to put somebody with that same hunger in their eyes in the same room with him, where Dak ain't comfortable, if that makes sense. I said all that to say that. Go get somebody that when he look at him, he like, damn, that kid can ball. If I don't stay healthy, if I don't stay on my shit, if I don't stay on my diet, if I don't lose a couple pounds, or if I don't do my yoga, or if I don't stretch out like I'm supposed to, or if I don't, be in the film room, that youngin is beating me to the film room. That youngin, he got fresher legs than I got. He can throw the football better than I can. He got more talent than I got. He got more natural talent than I got. So I say all that to say, well, Big Sarge, somebody got to prove it. Prove it by bringing in a guy that's going to push him. That's going to push him for real. Because as long as Cooper Rush stays here, I almost called him Cooper Kupp. As long as Cooper Rush stays here, Dak is going to know that he's the very best quarterback on this roster. Things are going to stay the same that they are. Dak last year had a great year, right? Dak had a great year last year. And I'm not saying that Dak isn't a good quarterback. I say good. I don't say great. I'm not saying Dak isn't a good quarterback. What I'm saying is, let's keep him hungry. Let's keep him to where, like, maybe Dak wants to bring in a running back to help. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Dak don't want to do these things. And I'm not saying that Dak isn't hungry. I'm saying when you're building a team, dog, and you know that if I mess up, this youngin gonna step in and they're gonna ask some questions. I felt like we should have done that with Zeke a long time ago, and we didn't do it. I feel like we should do that with CD now. I feel like we should do that with Micah now. I don't care how good they are. I don't care how great they are. But you keep building your roster that way. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the branding. It's about building the very best team. And guess what? Injuries happen all the time. Contract negotiations happen all the time. Guess what? If Micah holds out right now, right? If Micah holds out right now, we don't got no pass rush. If CD were to get injured, because he did hold out, just imagine if CD would have held out longer. We ain't got no passing game. I mean, Those are the type of things that I'm talking about. With Dak out, we don't have a shot. With Diggs out, you know what I'm saying? The secondary is obviously not as good. So I'm saying when you're building your team, you start that with the top down. Now, you got to kind of start that with the running back spot and the wide receiver spot. Because like I said, we're best when we're running the football. We're best when we're best when we can keep our quarterback upright. The best way to keep your quarterback upright is for him to hand the ball off. That helps him stay upright. Hand the ball off. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying, when they try and stack the box, they can't just roll all the coverage over to CD, because I know y'all saw Dak throw picks trying to force the ball to CD. You got to get another guy over there that they can't just bracket stuff over to CD, as great as CD is. And also, there are times where I had seen CD with Dak check out of a game. Nobody's going to respect Jalen Tolbert like that. Nobody's going to respect Turpin but a certain amount. I mean, they'll respect his speed, but they're not going to respect him as a route runner. They're not going to respect Jalen Brooks. They didn't respect our tight ends this year. They would give us that. They didn't respect Ferguson. They didn't respect Schoon. They didn't respect, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look at our offense, and outside of CeeDee Lamb, teams didn't respect us, bro. They didn't respect us. They didn't. On defense, we got a little better once. Look, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Our edges and our young guys on defense started playing better. Why did they start playing better? For one, they started getting snaps. But in the same breath, everybody was trying to do their job. And when somebody didn't do their job, you could see it. As much as I love D-Law, as much as I'm happy what D-Law did for us, all of a sudden, teams stopped getting outside of us. They stopped attacking us at the edges. They stopped. You know what I'm saying? Why is that? Why is that? You want to know why? Because with these young guys, this is why I want Zim back. These young guys started buying into what Zim was saying. Dono, I don't think Dono was buying there early. I think Dono got way better towards the end. I do. I don't want Dono off my team anymore. I just want somebody better. But Malik Hooker started playing better. Like a lot of the veterans and stuff that had success with Dan Quinn, they were doing it one way. You could kind of tell they were still trying to do it Dan Quinn's way. When they started buying it into Zim's way, we started playing a little bit more complimentary football. We just didn't have the back, or we just couldn't score the points to really complement the defense like we needed to. We lost that game yesterday because we got inside the red zone 5 times, and we kicked 4 field goals and scored, I think it was one touchdown, right? Like, we're not a threat inside the 15 because we don't have the runners. We don't have the running back that can punch it in. We don't have the receivers. Like, we threw fades to Brandon Cooks yesterday. Like, I don't know if that's a telltale sign, if anything, but it was a one-on-one matchup, and we throwing fades to a 5'9" body catcher. 5'9" body catcher. Like, I think the defense, like Maris, and yeah, you could say the offense got us that, and the defense, let us down at the end. But what about when the defense was shutting down Jaden Daniels in that offense, and we were driving up and down the field, and we weren't scoring touchdowns, bro? Like, what about that? Like, those young guys they only had but so much experience, but they were doing what they could do. They were doing what they could do, and we weren't scoring points. We haven't scored points consistently all year. You know what I'm saying? We haven't scored points. And that's where our needs lie. We need to be able to hand the ball off to a running back. And if we're at the 15-yard line, the running back is a threat to score from the 15-yard line. Not get 5, then get 4, then 3, and we get inside the 5, and then we got to throw the ball because we don't trust whoever's back there to run the ball. Or, You know what I'm saying? We get inside the 15, and the only guy that we really are trying to get the ball to is CD, and everybody knows it, and nobody else is a threat. Jalen Tolbert had some touchdowns this year, but I mean, I don't think anybody really respects Jalen Tolbert as a number 2 like that. I do think he can make plays, and I do think that he can make timely catches. And yesterday, actually, I saw a little bit more out of him with Trey throwing him the ball. I saw a little bit more of him in stride and looking better. Like, can we talk about that? Can we talk about what Tolbert looked like when things were on time? What Mingo actually looked like with things on time? Like, I wouldn't call any of those guys number 2s though. And in today's NFL, your number 2 has to be a number 1. Your number 2 has to be a number 1 if you want to kind of go far, right? Now, Kansas City, you could say, well, Kansas City don't got no. Well, I think Rice was kind of a number 1, but Travis Kelce was a number 1. You know what I'm saying? That was their number 1. On top of having maybe a speedy receiver like Hill or something like that. And I don't know, but I just think we need to start with weapons. And then if we can't get weapons, then get somebody that demands the type of respect that Micah did when he came in the league. So Jay Tuck had his live earlier, and he talked about being out of the box ready, right? He talked about being out of the box ready. And I think that we need to get somebody that's out of the box ready. We need to get somebody that's out of the box ready on defense, possibly. Linebackers are sneaky need, guys. It is. Edge rusher. I mean, if you can find somebody alongside Micah that can help, that helps. D-tackle, I don't trust us in the draft at D-tackle. Safety is something that we can get better at. But we're a lot closer on defense if we keep Zim to break through than we are on offense. So how do you complement the defense? You get a run game. You get a running back. You can build a run game in the defense. That's why, in the beginning of this, that's why I'm for a defensive-minded head coach in a way, because I know there's 2 things we're going to do. We're probably going to build on this defense where we got some of the young talent over there. We could probably build on that, and then we're going to run the football. We're going to play defense, and we're going to run the football. And guess what? Those things travel with you. They travel with you everywhere you go. If you can run the football and play defense. But yeah, let me look at some of them comments, though. Y'all been saying some fire in the chat. Let me see what we got. My bad, y'all. I just been kind of ranting. Big Sar said Jalen Tolbert is a solid player, but he's a number 1 receiver. Yeah. Angry Cowboys fan said that should be our goal each draft. Plug and play players. You said it, bro. I ain't say it. I mean, I might have said it, but I'm just out here rambling. All right, Cowboys Politics asked me, if Genty, Abdul Carter, and Tet are there for the pick, who do you go with? I'm getting Tet out of those 3. So my rankings are Tet, Abdul Carter, then Genty. I actually have Abdul Carter above Genty on my list. I think that Abdul Carter is damn near carbon copy of Micah. See, what Abdul Carter is the Penn State seeing what Micah became at the next level and realizing that they didn't unlock that at the college level. So Abdul Carter has had every opportunity to become what Micah probably should have been in college, which Micah still was a pretty damn good backer. He still was. But I think with Abdul Carter, they said, oh, okay, damn, we had this all along and we didn't know it. We ain't going to mess this up again. And they're going to continue to draft players like that. Penn State, I'm excited to watch them play again because I really like their linebacker play. I really like their box play. So, be on the lookout for Penn State. Yeah, that's right. Hey, drop the like button, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all, because I'm about to get ready to go back to work. About to go to work. I just finished shoveling and all that stuff. Any more questions, man? Ask me some questions before, I head on out. Angry Cowboys fan said Parsons, Carter, Demo, Luafau on the field at once. Lord have mercy. Yeah. So, bro, you get what I'm saying with that, right? Like, because Demo was coming along, but he just got injured towards the end. So you got to kind of have to. I think we should slow roll his injury this time because obviously there's something there where he keeps getting hurt and he keeps getting hurt the way that he does, to where I think they need to figure out how his body functions the best way, and then we need him to come out not being rushed but feel comfortable. Because man, there were times that I looked at Demo play and I thought he was the best player on the field. So we can't mess that up. But what we can do is we drafted a Demo, we can find another one, and we gotta feel comfortable making people feel uncomfortable. So just because you got Demo, guess what? He off an injury. It is what it is. We gotta get somebody to play there. Even though Maris is playing pretty good. Building up a Super Bowl contender starts with the trenches. Dallas O-line and D-line is not good. They have a couple guys, but not all around good. I'm going to disagree a little bit because I think the O-line was starting to get there. I think that the O-line is getting pushed, and I think that, are they great? No, but they're good enough. You know, not just good enough, but they're a good offensive line. They're a good offensive line. Defensive line, I think we're about one player. I think if we had an interior defensive lineman, I think the D-line would be, I think it would be one of the top in the league. Either that, and then maybe a edge rusher possibly, but I think Nealon is pretty good. I think you got to bring Golston back. Golston had a solid year. I like Carl Lawson. I just think like one or two more pieces there, I think that it could be a really solid D-line. Because they played well down the stretch. Actually, we won the game in the trenches yesterday. We whooped Washington in the trenches the week before that. And to be honest with you, against Philly, we weren't really getting whooped in the trenches. Like, we were on defensive line a little bit, but our offensive line was still getting pushed. Rico was still averaging 4 carry. It's not the O-line's fault Rico can't break a big one. It's not the offensive line's fault that there be runs there, and sometimes it's one-on-one, and Rico can't make the guy miss, or that we ain't got no running back that can finish inside the 5. It's not the O-line's fault. Drew, you're not even a Cowboys fan. I ain't even worried about what you talking about. I ain't even worried about you. Just here to troll. But nah, the defense, I think towards the end, like we held the Bengals pretty. The Bengals game, I think, was what kind of showed me that we are okay. You know what I'm saying? We're all right there. We just need to keep building. Philly started whooping us when Cooper Rush started throwing the ball to the other team. When we started turning the ball over. I mean, they started the game with a pick 6, bro. But outside of that, we was driving on Philly. You know what I'm saying? We just couldn't punch the ball in. Barkley got that. He got them runs late, bro. Like, it wasn't like Barkley was just whooping on us. It wasn't. We was turning the damn ball over, bro. We was turning the ball over. We had, what, 4 or 5 turnovers in that game? Somebody else mess with that troll, bro. I ain't talking to him right now. Okay, Big Flock says O-line needs to be Awesome Smith, Hoffman, BB, Guyton, D-line needs to study DT and Tank's replacement. I think we got Tank's replacement. But here's the thing, right? We talk about Tank and we hold Tank to this high standard. But why do we hold Tank to that high standard? Like, why do we feel like Tank was just this elite player that we just need to replace? I think Nealon, Golston, and all those dudes can give you everything Tank was giving you. They're giving you everything he can. We need somebody that comes along that's better than what Tank was. That's what we need. We need somebody that's better than what Tank was. We don't need to replace Tank because with Tank, we weren't stopping the run. We weren't getting to the quarterback. We weren't elite at rushing. You know what I'm saying? We weren't elite at anything on defense. So, you know, I'm not a person. Look, I like Tank. I don't think Tank is a scrub. I think Tank deserves to go somewhere and try and win a championship. But I guarantee you, anywhere that Tank goes, that's a championship. It's a championship environment. I bet you Tank don't start. Not at this point in his career. And I bet you he don't got the leverage that we have in Dallas. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Sometimes we hold our players to higher regards than what they really are. We hold our players sometimes higher than what they are. We'll look at some training camp clips and we'll say, oh, so-and-so was killing, so-and-so was blah, blah, blah. The bright lights turn on and so-and-so ain't that. Or so-and-so ain't dominating. But Stevie Mack said this, right? It just popped up. Missing about 6 starters, multiple backups in that first game. I mean, Jay Recruiter, was Tank an elite run stuffer? Like, all right, I'm not going to pay top dollar for an elite run stuffer when we can't stop the run. I don't care if they're running away from him or not. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. Like, Tank is going to be expensive. He knows how to work the front office for his money. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, if Tank went to a contender, he probably wouldn't start, bro. He would be a rotational piece at a contender right now as it stands. And let's just keep it a buck. Tank always hurt. Tank be hurt a lot. Nothing wrong with him. And again, I think Tank is a really good player. And I think Tank should be able to go somewhere that's a better organization and win the championship. But I got to call it what it is. Again, straight, no chaser. Like, we the only ones that hold them to that high regard. How many All-Pros Tank got? Somebody tell me that. How many All-Pros Tank got? Because I know Micah came in hitting the ball running, hitting the ground running, and was All-Pro, 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 All-Pro. Still might be All-Pro this year. Maybe. I don't know. 13 games, he had what, 12? Did he have 12 sacks, I think, in 13 games? Micah probably could still be an All-Pro. And what I'm telling you about Tank is the way that this team is set up, they had Tank in the hierarchy as a captain, as a leader over Micah. So how y'all expect this team to reach championship levels if your leaders can't be leaders? If your leaders can't really be leaders, but you got set captains and those are your guys who's supposed to be that. Okay, so Angry Cowboys fan said 2 All-Pros for D-Law. All right, so do we know what years they were? Because I'm not saying that D-Law wasn't elite at one point. I know one year he had 14 sacks, I think. I think he had 2017 and 2020. That's a long time to be away. But the one thing that I saw, and this is what changed my mind, because big D-Law fan. I was happy to have him back. I did multiple film sessions on D-Law last year, right? And I was just like everybody else saying, elite run stopper. You know what I'm saying? Like, D-Law should be doing this. D-Law should be doing that. You know, Big Game James was the one, you know what I'm saying, who fought against everybody on D-Law. But when I saw him and Micah fighting on that sideline, jockeying for position, and I saw that we were struggling, but you can kind of tell body language and stuff after a while. I just know that all of a sudden, when D-Law was out, we stopped getting gashed on the edges. I do know that. I can't say nothing else but that. So maybe it was the vet who had more skin in the game, just out there doing what he wanted to do. Yeah, I saw Tank tell Micah to shut the F up. But I watched that defense come back when Micah came back from injury, and I watched that defense play way better than they were at that time. So, I mean, I just know that I would rather, I just know Micah has a lot more tread in the tires. Micah is one of the very best at his position, probably top 3. I'd rather build around that. I'd rather build around that. And by building around that, I mean, I'm going to try and get somebody that's just as good as him. Because for a long time, we didn't get guys because we didn't want to step on Tank's toes. There's an interview out there somewhere with David Irving, and that's a thing where they didn't play him at end because it was stepping on D-Law's toes. I don't know what channel it is. I forget. I asked bro, could I use it? If I find it, I'm probably talking about it, so it'll pop in the algorithm. But bro said I could clip it. And when I find it, I'm going to show y'all. But the politics of keeping some of these guys comfortable is why we are where we are. So, damn, man. Appreciate y'all, man. A lot of people like this video. I will be back. You know, we talked about some draft needs and stuff, but like Thursday, me, Tuck, Rome, Cover 3, we going to be back and we going to discuss some real stuff. We going to discuss some real stuff. It's not going to be manufactured. It's not going to be like what the hottest takes and stuff are. Like, that's not how we rock. Me and my brothers, we're genuine in what we do. We want this team to win. We want to win. Okay, Big Star said this. I wouldn't say that Tank is irrelevant, but he's not a game changer in the pass rush department. So, yeah. I mean, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all, man. Hit that like button if you didn't hit it on the way out. I'm going to give it to you sometimes. Pause, no diddy. Straight shot, bro. Straight shot. I'm not like... And the thing is, we can disagree. We can disagree. But remember, guys, I'm always going to be respectful. I'm going to keep the same energy. We can be respectful. We can disagree. Me and JC was disagreeing over Cam Scatterbo earlier. It was very, very respectful. And I can't wait to get in a space with that brother. And we discuss some of the things because, you know, in characters, you can't really talk about all the things that you want to talk about all the time. You can't always express what you want to express. So I can't wait to really get in the phone with my brother, JC, and we talk about it. But, hey, salute to y'all. We out. Peace.